The sky burned red. It started with a quiet hum. People looked up from their phones, their meals, their lives. Birds stopped flying. Cars stopped working. Then the power went out, everywhere. Cities went dark. Phones died. Planes fell from the sky. All around the world, screens flickered back to life, but not with anything made by humans. A strange message, in symbols no one understood at first, appeared. Then it changed into every human language. On every screen, in every country, one cold sentence appeared. "We are the Zalzor. Surrender. You have 1 hour." People screamed. Some ran. Others stood frozen. No one had seen or heard of the Zalzor before. But something about that name felt wrong, like a nightmare half remembered. At a military base deep under the Rocky Mountains, alarms screamed. General Rhodes stared at the message on the screen. He picked up a red phone. "Get me Dr. Eli Grant, now, and bring Captain Torres." Captain Mia Torres was already in the air, in a fast black jet flying toward the mountains. She didn't know why she'd been called, only that it was urgent. The sky outside her window had turned red-orange, not from sunset, but from something else, something high above the clouds. Mia had been a soldier for 10 years. She fought in deserts, jungles, even space during the Mars patrol missions, but nothing had prepared her for this. The pilot beside her said quietly, "They've arrived." "Who?" she asked. The pilot didn't answer. He just pointed up. Mia looked through the glass dome above. Her breath caught. There were ships, hundreds of them, black as space, floating above Earth like a swarm of insects. Giant triangle-shaped vessels. No sound, no lights, just there, waiting. She didn't say a word the rest of the flight. When they landed at the base, soldiers rushed her inside. General Rhodes met her at the elevator. He looked older, tired. His voice was low. "We're out of time." They rode the elevator down for almost 2 minutes. At the bottom was a long hallway, cold and steel gray. Waiting at the end was Dr. Eli Grant. He was a quiet man, always deep in thought, but now his hands were shaking. "This is about the object, isn't it?" Mia asked. Dr. Grant nodded. "The Martian device, the one we found 15 years ago, the one we could never activate." He looked at her. It turned on, by itself, right when the Zalzor message appeared. They walked into the vault. Inside was a tall, stone-like machine covered in lines of glowing red light. It hummed softly, pulsing like a heartbeat. It had symbols on it, some matching the ones in the Zalzor message. "What does it do?" Mia asked. "We don't know," Dr. Grant said. "But it's been sending a signal into space. A very strong one. Someone might be listening." Suddenly alarms blared. A young soldier ran in. "They've moved. The Zalzor ships are entering Earth orbit. All of them." Rhodes slammed his hand on the table. "We need to evacuate major cities." "No," Dr. Grant said slowly. "They're not attacking, not yet. They're waiting, watching, like they're scared." "Scared?" Mia said. "Of us?" Dr. Grant turned toward the device. "Or of what this thing might call?" Everyone in the room went silent. Outside, the red sky grew darker. A low, deep vibration shook the earth like the sound of thunder under the ground. People across the world fell to their knees, some in fear, some in prayer. In the oceans, strange glowing shapes began to rise. In the mountains, birds flew away in flocks. Something was happening. Back in the vault, the Martian device flashed, brighter. A wave of energy shot out. Electronics nearby sparked. Lights burst. The screen in the control room turned black, then filled with unknown star maps. Symbols moved like a language. One word translated across the screen. "Awakening," General Rhodes whispered. "What does it mean?" Dr. Grant stepped back, his eyes wide. "It means this isn't a weapon. It's a beacon." Mia's heartbeat quickened. "A beacon for who?" Dr. Grant looked at her. "Not for who. For what?" Just then, Far out in space, beyond the reach of any human telescope, something woke up. Something ancient. Something powerful. And it heard the call. The Zalzor ships paused. Then, in their own command ship, the leader of the Zalzor hissed in their strange language, "They've done it, they've summoned it." One of his officers asked, "Should we attack now?" The leader's answer was cold. "No, we wait. If the legends are true, this could be the end." Back on Earth, Mia stared at the stars, now hidden by the red sky. Something had changed. The silence before the storm was over, and what was coming would change everything. The silence after. The red sky was heavy. People everywhere waited, watching the dark sky. The Zalzor ship stayed still in Earth's orbit, like predators waiting for the right moment to strike. But something else was happening far beyond the reach of Earth's eyes. Deep in the secret base, Dr. Eli Grant worked day and night. The Martian device kept sending its strange signal. It was a pulsing wave of energy, invisible to the naked eye, traveling through space. At first no one noticed. Then far away the signal hit something big. Out in the blackness of space near the edge of a distant galaxy, a ship answered. It was not like the Zalzor's dark ships. This ship was bright, glowing, with blue light, smooth and tall, almost alive. The beings inside it were called the Centenari, ancient protectors of the galaxy. The Centenari watched the signal carefully. Their leader, a tall figure with shining silver armor, frowned. "The humans have awakened the beacon," she said. "This was forbidden." She turned to her council. "We must protect them. The Zalzor are ruthless. They destroy everything." Back on Earth, Captain Mia Torres did not understand what was happening. She felt strange inside. The red sky was gone, replaced by a quiet calm, but the peace did not last. One evening, while Mia trained with her soldiers, she saw the night sky shimmer. A small light blinked near Saturn. It wasn't a star. It moved fast and clear. Soldiers pointed their telescopes, and they saw the glowing ship of the Centenari. Mia's heart raced. What are they, friend or enemy? Dr. Grant smiled softly. They are the protectors. They watched over Earth long ago. We forgot, but they never left. He told her a story. Long ago, before humans walked the Earth, there were the first humans. They lived among the stars, with help from the Centenari, but something terrible happened and the first humans disappeared. Now the beacon was calling for help again. Mia felt a strange warmth in her chest. So, we're not alone? No, Dr. Grant said. And the Zalzor fear this. Meanwhile, the Zalzor leader studied the new threat. His dark eyes burned with anger. The Centenari are coming. We cannot allow this. Destroy the beacon. Destroy the humans. The Zalzor launched secret attacks against the Martian device. Lasers cut through the sky. Missiles raced toward the base. But the Centenari arrived just in time. Their ships formed a glowing shield around Earth's base, blocking the Zalzor's weapons. On Earth, people watched the battle in the sky. Fear mixed with hope. Mia stood on the base's roof looking up. This war is bigger than we thought, she said. Dr. Grant nodded. The Centenari told me the beacon can awaken something inside humans, something powerful. Mia clenched her fists. What kind of power? Before Dr. Grant could answer, Mia felt a strange energy flow through her body. Her vision sharpened, her reflexes quickened. It was as if something inside her was waking up. The Centenari leader contacted Mia directly through a glowing screen. Captain Torres, you are the key. You carry the blood of the first humans. Mia's eyes widened. Blood of the first humans? What does that mean? It means you are not just a soldier, the Centenari said. You have a destiny to protect Earth and all life. Mia looked at the stars again. The war was no longer only about survival. It was about awakening the past to save the future. And the Zalzor knew this too well. They prepared for the battle ahead, but they did not know what else they had awakened. something that would change the war forever. The signal had been answered. The galaxy was watching, and humanity was about to rise. The sky was calm, but deep inside Earth things were changing fast. Near Saturn, the glowing ships of the Centenari moved with grace and power. They were unlike anything humans had seen before. Their blue light cut through the darkness of space. The Centenari were not just warriors, they were guardians watching over the galaxy for millions of years. Inside one of their ships, the leader, named Lyra, stood tall. Her silver armor shone as she looked at the stars. "Earth is awakening," she said softly. "The humans are more than what they seem." Her advisors nodded. The Zalzor fear Earth because they remember the first humans. They are not just stories. They were powerful and they vanished for a reason. Lyra looked at the map of the galaxy. "We must help these humans. If the Zalzor win, they will destroy Earth, and with it, the hope for all life." Back on Earth, Captain, Mia Torres felt the changes inside her grow stronger. Her reflexes were faster, her mind clearer. Sometimes she saw visions, images of distant stars, strange places, and beings she did not know. She kept this secret, afraid others might think she was losing her mind. One night she met Dr. Eli Grant in the lab. "I see it too," he said, quietly. "The signal from the Martian device is more than a call. It is a key. And you, Mia, are the lock." Mia shook her head. "I'm just a soldier. How can I be special?" Dr. Grant smiled sadly. "Because your blood carries the mark of the first humans. Long ago, they used technology to protect themselves from the dangers of space. Some of their descendants still live, hidden." Mia looked at the stars and asked, "Why now? Why are we waking up?" Dr. Grant pointed to the glowing device. "Because the Zalzor came. They declared war on us, but they don't understand what they have started. The first humans left behind guardians. And now, those guardians are coming back." Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the base. The Zalzor had attacked again, striking a remote research station. The message was clear. They wanted to scare Earth into surrender. But the Centenari would not allow it. Their ships moved faster, blocking the Zalzor's attacks. They fought with a power and skill that amazed the humans watching from below. Mia joined the battle command center. "We need to prepare for a bigger fight," she said. "The Zalzor want Earth, but we have allies now." Dr. Grant nodded. "And you, Mia, are our greatest weapon." Mia looked at her hands, feeling the strange power inside. She was no longer just a soldier. She was part of something much bigger, something ancient. As the battle raged in space, Mia's mind filled with new strength. She could feel the history of the first humans flowing through her veins. The war had only just begun, but humanity was awakening. The Centenari stood ready to guide them. The Zalzor were about to learn that Earth was not an easy target. Something beyond the stars was watching, waiting to join the fight. And Mia was ready to lead the way. ChatGPT said, "The nights were no longer quiet. Even when the sky was clear, people could feel something heavy in the air, like the calm before a massive storm." Captain Mia Torres didn't sleep much anymore. Each night, the strange visions grew stronger. She saw a burning world, tall shining towers, and a shadow that covered the stars. She didn't understand it yet, but something deep inside her did. At the underground base, Dr. Eli Grant worked day and night. He studied Mia's blood. He scanned her brain. What he found left him speechless. "You're changing," he told her, keeping his voice low. "Your DNA isn't fully human anymore. Or maybe it never was." Mia's hands trembled. "What do you mean?" "Project Titan," he said. "It was a top-secret program. Years ago, the government found strange DNA recovered from the Martian ruins. They mixed it with the genes of a few unborn children. You were one of them." Mia stepped back. Her heart pounded. "So I'm not normal?" "No," he said gently. "You're something more. The Zalzor see you as a threat, Not because you're a soldier, but because of what you could become. Outside the base, Centenari warriors arrived for the first time. They didn't look like monsters or machines. They looked almost human, taller, their eyes glowing slightly, their movements graceful. Their leader, Lyra, asked to speak to Mia alone. "You carry the blood of the ancients," Lyra said, placing a hand on Mia's shoulder. "The first humans chose Earth as their final home. Their power sleeps inside you, but now it stirs." Mia stared at her. "Why me?" "Because you're brave. Because you're strong. Because you were born to fight a war bigger than your world." Lyra offered her a small device, glowing blue. "We can help you unlock your full power. But once it begins, there's no going back. You won't be the same." Mia held the device. She felt the energy pulse through her fingers. Visions flashed again, flames, stars, a giant being of light standing between Earth and destruction. "What happens to me?" she asked quietly. "You evolve," Lyra said. "You become what the Zalzor fear most." Mia took a deep breath. Then, without a word, she pressed the device to her chest. Pain ripped through her body. Her bones felt like fire. Her heart beat like a drum. She fell to her knees. The Centenari stood in silence. Dr. Grant watched in awe. When the pain stopped, Mia stood up slowly. Her eyes were glowing gold. Her mind felt sharp, powerful. She could hear things, machines humming, soldiers whispering across the base, even the Zalzor speaking in their orbiting ships. "Can you understand them?" Dr. Grant asked. Mia nodded. "They're scared. They're planning something big, and they want to destroy the moon." Dr. Grant's face went pale. "The moon base. That's where the second device is hidden." Mia turned to Lyra. "We need to stop them." Lyra nodded. "We'll fight beside you, but remember, Mia, the more power you use, the more you leave your old self behind." Mia looked up at the sky, now filled with stars and shadows. "I'm not afraid," she said. The war had reached its next stage. The Zalzor were preparing to strike the moon. But they didn't know that Earth had just unlocked a warrior, one with the blood of the stars. The Zalzor did not wait. From their massive flagship hidden behind Earth's moon, they launched a silent fleet. Sleek, black ships with weapons glowing red. Their target was not Earth this time. It was the moon. More precisely, what was hidden beneath its surface. Captain Mia Torres stood in the command center of the underground base, her golden eyes glowing faintly. She could hear the whispers again, low alien voices, full of fear and anger. The Zalzor knew what was buried on the moon. "They're not just trying to win this war," Mia said. "They're trying to erase our past." Dr. Eli Grant nodded. "They fear the truth. The moon wasn't always just a moon. It was once a station, a vault left by the first humans. And there's a second beacon hidden there, stronger than the first." General Rhodes stepped into the room, looking tense. "Our moon base is already under attack. We've lost contact with the outpost. We need to act now." Mia turned to Lyra, the Centenari leader. "Can your forces reach the moon in time?" "We already have ships near the dark side," Lyra said calmly. "But they'll need help." Mia didn't hesitate. "I'm going." Rhodes stepped forward. "Torres, if you're caught—" "I won't be," she said. "They're not expecting me, and I can feel the beacon calling." Within the hour, Mia was aboard a sleek silver Centenari ship. It hummed with power different from human tech. There were no buttons, just thought and energy. The ship responded to her presence like it knew her. As the ship left Earth's atmosphere, Mia watched the stars pass by, brighter than ever before. The closer they got to the moon, the louder the signal grew in her mind. It wasn't sound. It was a feeling, like being pulled toward a memory she didn't remember living. They reached the dark side of the moon just as the battle began. Red lasers tore through space. Zalzor ships fired relentlessly at the hidden vault entrance. Centenari vessels moved like lightning, blocking shots and returning fire with beams of white-hot light. Mia's ship landed on the gray surface. She stepped out in a thin energy suit, floating just above the ground. Gravity was weak. Her steps felt like dreams. Below her, hidden inside a crater, was a sealed gate, ancient and enormous, covered in glowing symbols. The second beacon. As she moved toward it, two Zalzor warriors blocked her path. They looked monstrous, tall, armored, with long arms ending in sharp blades. They hissed. "You carry the blood," one said in a deep, rattling voice. "You are the threat." Mia didn't answer. Her eyes flared gold. They rushed at her. She moved faster than thought. With a single motion, she dodged the first blade and sent the creature flying backward with a blast of energy from her hand. The second lunged, but she leapt high, flipping in low gravity, landing behind it and slamming her fist into the ground. A shockwave of light erupted. Both creatures were thrown back, unmoving. Mia stepped to the gate. The symbols lit up under her touch. The massive stone door opened slowly, revealing a bright chamber deep inside the moon. The beacon stood at the center, taller than the first one, pulsing like a heart. It wasn't just a machine. It was alive. When she touched it, her mind exploded with memories that weren't hers. She saw the first humans standing on tall mountains of glass. She saw stars being born. She saw the Zalzor as they once were, weak, afraid, running from something in the dark. Then she saw something else, a third beacon, on Earth, hidden in a place long forgotten. The connection broke as an alarm sounded. "Doctor?" Grant's voice came through her comms. "Mia, the Zalzor just sent reinforcements. You need to get out." "No," she said calmly. "I've activated the beacon. It's already begun." From deep inside the moon, a pulse of white energy shot upward. It lit up the sky, pushing back the Zalzor ships like a wave. The Earth saw it. Millions of people looking up, watching. The moon shined like a second sun. On the Zalzor flagship, the commander screamed. "She's done it. The second is awake. Stop her before she finds the third." But it was too late. The war had changed again. And now, Mia knew the final piece was waiting. On Earth, and the Zalzor knew. If she found it, their time was over. ChatGPT said the Earth shook, not from bombs or weapons, but from something deeper, an ancient energy rising from beneath its crust. Across the planet, strange lights appeared in the sky. Oceans pulled back for moments, then crashed forward again. Animals howled without reason. Satellites flickered. Something was waking up. In the secret base, Dr. Eli Grant stared at the readings, in disbelief. "It's starting," he whispered. "The third beacon is reacting to the second." Captain Mia Torres returned from the moon changed. Her golden eyes now carried a deeper glow, and her voice had a strange echo. Even Lyra, the Centenari leader, looked at her with quiet respect. "You touched both beacons," Lyra said. "You're no longer just human." Mia nodded. "I saw the third one. It's here, on Earth, and the Zalzor are searching for Dashir." They weren't the only ones. In deep space, a third race stirred, forgotten by most, feared by all, the Nullum. They were ancient, like the Centenari, but twisted by time. Long ago, they were the reason the first humans disappeared. They had once been allies until they tried to take everything. And now they had felt the beacons awaken. But on Earth, only one thing mattered: finding the third beacon before the Zalzor. Mia stood in the strategy chamber with Dr. Grant, Lyra, and General Rhodes. The beacon had shown her its location, buried beneath a ruined temple in the Amazon rainforest. But there was a problem. "That place was bombed 20 years ago," Rhodes said. "It's just rubble." "No," Mia said. "It was buried to hide what was underneath." Lyra placed a hand on the map. "The third beacon isn't just another key. It's the heart. If the Zalzor get to it first, they'll twist it, turn it into a weapon that could wipe out entire planets." General Rhodes gave the order. "Send a unit, protect Mia at all costs." They flew out in a black stealth ship, diving below radar and clouds, heading straight into the deep green jungle. As they reached the edge of the ancient ruins, the iguus, trees began to bend. Winds howled, and the ground shook again. "They're close," Mia said. "Both the beacon and the Zalzor." As her team stepped into the ruined temple, they saw it. A giant stone floor, covered in carvings that glowed faintly as Mia approached. She placed her hand on the center. The ground split open. Stairs descended into darkness. And then the sky, above them, turned black. Not night, but something worse. The Zalzor had arrived. Dozens of dropships screamed through the air, firing into the jungle. Explosions rocked the earth. Centenari warriors launched from orbit to intercept. Battles broke out above the trees. Mia's team held the line at the entrance, but the enemy pushed closer. Inside the temple, Mia descended alone. The light from her body lit the way. At the bottom, there it was, the third beacon. It was massive, covered in crystal, humming with deep, slow energy. But it wasn't awake, not yet. She stepped closer and reached out. And then, something spoke. Not in words, but in feeling. It asked, "Are you ready to become what you were always meant to be?" She took a breath. Yes. The beacon flared, white, brighter than anything she had seen. Energy surged through her. Her mind stretched beyond her body, into the stars, into the past, into everything. Above, the sky exploded. A beam of golden light burst from the temple, firing straight into orbit. Zalzor ships were ripped apart. The jungle trembled, but the earth held firm. The third beacon was now fully awake. Mia rose from the pit, no longer walking, floating. Her body glowed with pure light. The jungle was silent. Dr. Grant's voice came over the comms. "We see it. The signal's everywhere. The galaxy just felt you rise." But far away, beyond known space, the Nullum opened their eyes. And they smiled. The real war was just beginning. The stars were no longer silent. Across the galaxy, powerful signals burst from Earth, the Moon, and deep space. The three beacons had awakened, and the balance of power had shifted. In every Zalzor ship, alarms screamed. Their commanders shouted in panic. Their machines shook as strange energy passed through their systems. "They've done it," one Zalzor general hissed. "The human has become the key." But it was already too late. On Earth, Captain Mia Torres, no longer fully human, stood at the top of the ancient temple, glowing like a star. Her body pulsed with golden light, her eyes filled with knowledge of the first humans. She was calm, strong, complete. Dr. Grant, watching from the nearby ridge, whispered in awe. "She's not a soldier anymore. She's something beyond." Lyra, leader of the Centenari, stepped beside him. "She is now what the first humans hoped for, a guardian of worlds." But Mia didn't look at them. She looked at the sky, because something was coming. Far beyond the edge of the solar system, the Nullum had arrived. Their ships were black like space itself, huge and silent. They did not fire weapons. They did not speak. They just absorbed everything around them. Light, signals, energy. Even stars grew dim in their presence. The Centenari fleet formed a wall around Earth and the Moon. Human ships joined them, smaller but brave. Together, they waited, and then it began. A wave of darkness spread as the Nullum moved forward. Zalzor ships tried to flee, but some were swallowed instantly, vanishing into the void. General Rhodes gave the command. "All forces, defend Earth." In the skies, war erupted. Blue and silver ships danced between blasts of energy. The Zalzor, desperate and angry, joined the fight, not to save Earth, but to survive. On the ground, Mia raised her hands. The energy from the three beacons rose with her. Earth itself began to glow. The planet was no longer just a battlefield. It was a source of power. The ground split open across ancient sites, places forgotten by humans but remembered by the beacons. Africa, Tibet, Antarctica, hidden machines powered up. Pillars of light rose into the sky, and then she rose with them. Mia launched into orbit, faster than any ship. Her body burned gold. Every satellite and ship turned to track her. She was a message to the galaxy. Earth is no longer sleeping. She flew into the heart of the enemy fleet. The Nullum did not expect her. They tried to consume her energy, but she did not resist. She gave it, and they screamed. The Nullum were ancient, but they were twisted. Once, long ago, they had been like the Centenari, but their hunger for power had turned them into monsters. They fed on stars, on minds, on life. Mia was not just power, she was memory. She carried the truth of what the Nullum used to be and what they lost. She reached the core of the largest Nullum ship and sent a message, not in words but in feeling. You can't erase what we are. You can't destroy hope. You forgot your light. But we remember ours. And with that she exploded. But not in death. She changed. The golden light became pure energy. It swept through space, touching every ship, friend and enemy. The Centenari ships grew brighter, faster. Human weapons became sharper, stronger. Even the Zalzor, confused and angry, found themselves protected for a moment. But the Nullum, they cracked. Their darkness began to break apart. Their ships lost shape, lost meaning. One by one they faded, not destroyed, but returned to dust. And then, silence. Earth was safe. The war was over. But Mia was gone. The world mourned her. Monuments were built. Songs were written. The sky no longer looked the same, because part of her light still lived in it. A week later, Dr. Grant stood at the top of the temple where she had last stood. He placed his hand on the cold stone. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed in the air. I'm not gone, Eli, just changed. He looked up, eyes wide. In the sky above, a faint golden figure floated among the stars. She smiled. I am the guardian now. And then the stars shimmered, brighter than before. Because Earth had awakened, and the galaxy would never forget what happened when they declared war on humanity, and found something far beyond anything they imagined. Hope, unity, and a warrior with the heart of a world.